Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome one, welcome all to part of your Wednesday night entertainment here in the MRS Formula One Racing League. And we're here in the beautifully sunny, which is a lovely change, Brazilian Grand Prix, round 10 of season 10. We are here to race this evening. Lovely to have you all with me as always. And we have got 18 minutes of qualifying to take place before our 50% race. Hopefully we're going to have really lovely weather, but we will wait and see. It looks very nice for qualifying. A few different people in. We've got Master G. So welcome, Master G. Lovely to have you. Kevos, lovely to have you racing as well with us. If you've seen any of this season so far, you'll know how exciting it has been and how fantastic the races are as well. One of the drivers first on track, actually is first on track, is Dom Walsh in the Ferrari, Evening Blood Diamond. Hopefully you're looking forward to this one. Hope you're feeling good and confident. A lot of players, of course, love this Brazilian circuit. One of the main circuits that people do practice as soon as the new game comes out, so people usually really keyed in, really dialed in to the Brazilian circuit, and it's a very technical circuit. You've got this part of the middle sector, of course, of the Interlagos circuit, which is meaning two lakes, which this circuit does evolve around. We do have two lakes that the circuit does in this beautiful Sao Paulo city here in Brazil. So yeah, difficult circuit, but you want to sort of raise your wings a little bit, but you can kind of get away with a bit of lower wings in terms of the first sector and this last sector down the start-finish straight, as Dom is the first one to start on the soft compound tyres. Interested to see what the weather's going to be as well this evening. I'll go through some of the standings, and again, one of the key talking points, I think, in this championship, which is extremely close, I must say, is our championship leader. Dino is not racing this evening, so could his teammate Thomas actually take the lead in the standings this evening? Liquid Gas not far away as well, so yeah, it could be a lot of movers and shakers once again. The constructor standings as well, very tight. We've seen quite a good few races, don't forget, last week in the beautiful swinging rising sun city of Japan. That was an incredible race we had right at the end, so hopefully you did watch it. But let's see what Dom's going to do on his first lap. He's just done a sort of a second warm-up, but it does a 9.4 in his opening lap without really pushing. So yeah, really good lap that to start with, and I'm sure we're going to see the 108s, maybe even the 107s here in qualifying. Everybody, every single driver of the 10 with us that are out on circuit, Mike immediately beats it on a 9.2. Mike definitely one of those drivers to look out for this evening, but this is going to be I just think a really interesting qualifying session, because we know what Thomas can do, but we've got some strong qualifiers. Blood Diamond, very strong qualifying. Monster as well, as really had a bit of bad luck in some races, but he's been fantastic in qualifying. Liquid Gas as well. Speaking of Monster, 9-0 as well for his first lap, so not hanging about. The Red Bull man there, as Thomas has done a 9.9 on his first sort of half opener. Let's have a look at Liquid Gas in the beautiful Williams as he starts his lap. Let's see what he can do to start with. It's only about 30, just under 30, 29 points off the lead of the championship from Dean, so he could really close the gap this evening with a very strong result, even a possible win, which would help bring him closer as well to Thomas in the drivers' standings. But it is very tight in that midfield. Blood Diamond only 5 ahead of his teammate Grimo, 105 to 100, who again is only 5 points ahead of Monster. So again, that's another point, another big talking point that we're going to have. Mike is only 1 point behind Vexman, actually a bit further up the order, 6th and 5th respectively on 139 points. 134 to 135. 139 is actually Dom, only just ahead of them. So again, very close in the standings. Liquid Gas just pips Monster to a provisional pole. Let's have a look at one of our newcomers, MasterGeeCze. Sorry. He's definitely going to get a new nickname, I'm sure of it. And Kevos, or Kavos, as I'm going to call him, as well. Two new boys in the Mercedes this evening, so lovely to have you boys with us. Hope you enjoy the racing. Hope you actually both have a really good, strong race. And MasterGeeCze, straight away, a 1:08.8, second ahead of his teammate, actually. So second is currently, after the first runs, separating the 10 drivers, which, let's be perfectly honest, is, I'm sure, going to close by the end of this session, because this is, as you see there, just over 60 seconds, 69 second qualifying lap, maybe about a 71, 72 second race lap. You're probably looking at the 110s, 111s, give or take. And then that, I think, is, to have a second is quite a big gap. So then, really, I think it's going to be very, very tight at the end of qualifying, and that's it. Because if you just nail a couple of corners, if you nail the braking into turn 1, the centre S's, if you get a good exit through 2, nail the braking and a good exit through turn 4 down the hill, difficult, have a really good, spot your braking points perfectly in the middle sector, Zhongkao, what I call the final corner. It's not, of course, the final corner, but the way that these tracks do tend to call it a corner when it's not really a corner. The straight, not so straight, as I call them. That will also play dividends as well. If you can really nail these corners and really get some good grip through there, then you can gain so much time. So the fact that there is, apart from MasterGeeCze, like a tenth, nearly 2/10 ahead of Liquid Gas, but there's only a tenth of a second, Vexman Don Walsh, exactly the same time. But there's a tenth of a second separating those two in 6th to Liquid Gas in 2nd. So that's nothing, as we all know in Formula 1 terms. That is about, in race terms, that's about front wheel to the end of the nose cone at speed. That's a tenth of a second. So tiny, tiny margins we are talking with. Monster on an outlap, going for a second one, going on the soft tyres once again. Usually a good one-stop track, this one. Soft tyres will go quite well. It's usually soft mediums. If you're forced to an early stop, whether it's damage or an early safety car, the hard tyres, you can take them a really long way as well. So you're not always out of it, to be honest. If you do end up having to do that extra lap. Is Liquid Gas on a lap? No, he is not at this point. Done a few drivers there, done a couple of laps on their first runs. Trying to save some tyres. We've got Vexman, Mike and Grimo just giving up the medium tyres for their middle run. It's going to be interesting to see if Jack decides he's going to go again. He's not, because he's not set up his ERS level. So he's going to be diving into the pits. Let's have a look at Monster into turn 1, turn 2. Oh, it validates he can easily do that through there. And he's built straight away, turned his ERS back off. Easy to do that through 1 and 2. And we'll do, I'm sure, a lap very, very soon. And tell you what, let's go on board with one of our new drivers, Kavos, starting his next flying run down the start-finish straight. Braking late, about the 50-metre board into turn 1, the centre S's. Cuts turn 2 nicely, then uses the overtake through turn 3, flat out, down through the Curva de Sol, down the Retro Aposta, DRS wide open, used quite a lot of his battery at this point, but heavy braking into turn 4, then down the hill through turn 5, used a bit of the exit curve there, very narrow part of the circuit, then up into Ferradura. There was turn 6, turn 7 at the top of the hill, then braking into this tight little section. You've got Pirino turn 9 there, then quick kink into 10, and then Destino de Pato, turn 11, easy to lose the rear as well through it. Then Magulo down the hill, flat out qualifying, and then late braking into turn 12. Zhongkao, important to get a really, really strong exit. Then the pseudo de boxes through 13, 14, flat out we go. And then the run towards the line. Does he take the tighter line. He slightly does improve, but stays in 10th at this point in qualifying. Monster's actually bailed on his set of tyres. Thomas is improving, but he's turned the EOS off. Is he going to lose any time? Lost a little bit of time, but up to 5th for Thomas. So this is where, into the business end, liquid gas has actually gone out on the mediums. 7 minutes left of the session already, 11 minutes gone. So Mr. Monster, good evening. Hello, thank you for joining, as always. Difficult second lap for you there, invalidating early on, but I'm sure you've got plenty of time to even get 2 more runs, because again, like I said, this is one that such a short lap round here that you can get a couple of laps in. Jack took a little bit of the exit curb through turn 2, coming from eyes maybe 2, turn 3, took a bit of a tighter line. Let's have a look, still well up on his time. Through sector 1, sets a purple first sector as well, using quite a bit of his battery, but this is the point of the lap where that hot lap battery isn't necessarily well needed, I should say. Dom, wow, on the mediums, this track very much evolving now. Yeah, not a terrible first lap, absolutely a 109.0 is a very, very good lap. Got liquid gas just ahead of you, who is setting purple sectors. How's he going to look through the middle sector? He's up again, not quite a purple sector, but still this could be challenging for the provisional pole with Dom. How's his run towards line, using the last of his battery as much as he can to get up to speed up the hill. Then it doesn't really use as much effect as a run towards the line. It does improve, so 1:08.447 just beats Dom by less than 1/10 of a second. What is Master G going to do on his next one? He's done a couple of laps on those softs, maybe just bringing them in a little bit more. There's a Ferrari ahead. I think that is Dom, the lone Ferrari this evening. Master G, interestingly, upshifts to 4th quite early through the exit of his young car, which isn't unheard of on the basis that it can help with the traction. Use a lot of his battery. Is it going to be an improvement? Tiny improvement for Master G, but stays 3rd at this point. A couple of drivers now, interestingly, going out on the medium tyres. An interesting development. Are you talking about the medium tyres being quite quick? Could be, because it is beautiful sunshine weather. Has clouded over slightly from what we saw right at the beginning of qualifying, so that's going to play a part in the track temperatures. It's going to play a part in the warm-up and the overall grip, especially for the medium tyres. So while the driver may feel like they have got a good lap under their belts, they may just find it difficult to actually gain time. And where you are on the grid, what, 4th? I'm not sure about that one, so don't worry about it. Let's have a look at Grimmer. He's doing he's on a hot lap, so let's have a look. He missed his first sector time. Interesting, Grimmer goes to a higher gear through this middle part of the lap. Maybe got a really nice diff setting to get that car rotated. And that's usually what you tend to use the lower gears for here, just to knock it down a couple of times. Just keep the car rotating. But if he's got a nice diff on, yeah, he's just slow lap from him. It says hot lap, but I wasn't losing any, so I'm not really sure. Is he about to come into the pits? Yes, he is. So 3 minutes already left of the session. Liquid gas still in provisional pole with Dom just behind. Master G on his debut in 3rd, with Kevos, his teammate, in 10th, but improving so far on this lap. Monster in 4th. Then we've got Blood Diamond on an outlap on the medium tyres. Thomas currently in 6th. The other Red Bull of Vexman on a lap in 7th. Mike in 8th. I'm sure there's more time to come from that McLaren, as I think Kevos has lost quite a bit of time He's got a bit more battery left this time, so he may have a chance to gain it. He used a lot of his battery down the start-finish straight last time out and lost quite a bit of time, but this seems to be a bit of improvement. He gets quite a lot actually, but just 7 thousandths of a second behind Grimo, but stays 10th as it stands. Ooh, making it a bit squirrely through turn 4 and turn 5. Evening, Jack. Lovely to have you. So Monster gets the choice of tyres if he's that makes sense, Mr. Andrew. MasterGeeCze has retired from the session. That is in the pit lane. So he is done for qualifying. Now then, let's have a look. Who is about to start his lap? Let's have a look at Thomas. He's got the Williams of Jack right ahead of him, interestingly. But they do have time for an extra warm-up lap. Is Jack on a lap? He's not actually as well. So, interestingly, oh, a little bit of cat and mouse games. I like it. With 1 minute 50 seconds left on the clock. That's good fun. I like it. Monster's decided he's going to stay in the pits. He's not going to do another lap. So currently in 4th. Potentially a risk of dropping down the order a little bit. Blood Diamond set a bit quicker in his first sector. Monster, while you're in the pits, if you can give me a lovely weather forecast, that would be fantastic for our viewers this evening. To see what is going to happen during the race. Is it going to be, oh, beautiful sunshine? Or are we going to have a bit of cloud, which it has done now in this final part of qualifying? Or are we going to see a few bits of the damp stuff? As Blood Diamond on a really good lap. This could put him on the second row of the grid unless he has a perfect final sector. It was a purple mid-sector as well for the V-car, but he has qualified well this season. He's losing a bit of his battery. Is it going to be enough? It is. The second row of the grid beats MasterGeeCze up to 3rd. As Monster's on an out lap. I don't think he's going to have enough time to get round. I'll be surprised if he does. Unless he presses the wrong button. No, it doesn't look like it. Don't think, yeah, Monster's going to get that lap. And this will be out and back in again. But let's have a look at Thomas. Slightly up in his first sector. Still right behind Liquid Gas. This is either going to really give him a tour. And Liquid Gas has bailed out of his lap. So the provisional pole sitter. Is it going to be enough? Thomas is only marginally up though. And now hot lap back engaged. As he exits the middle sector of the lap. With 3, 2 and 1 second. And Monster didn't make the line in time. So Monster, the best he's going to do is start 5th. But is Thomas going to be able to usurp him? Is he going to be able to jump ahead of him? And he does. He up to 4th. So second row start for Thomas with that. Who else is on a lap that could usurp it? Grimo was one of the last to cross the line. Blood Diamond, I think, was actually the one to cross the line last. But Grimo used a lot of his battery in the first sector. Liquid Gas has bailed into the pits. What can Dom do? He can't improve. So at the minute, unless Grimo pulls a magic lap, it's going to be Liquid Gas on pole position with Dom in second. And the other V car, compared to the one we're watching, is going to be starting on the second row of the grid. What about Grimo? Can he make it a good improvement? Let's keep our eye on this middle sector. Is an improvement for Grimo. He hasn't. I think he may have bailed. He thought Grimo's given me really dodgy readouts. Let's see if he crosses the line. He doesn't. He's going to pit. So, folks, that is the end of qualifying. Liquid Gas does take pole position from Dom in second. Blood Diamond in 3rd ahead of this man 2nd in the championship and could overtake his teammate this evening. Thomas in 4th. MasterGeeCze on his debut in 5th ahead of the lead of the Red Bulls. Monster in 6th. Vexman in 7th. Then we got Mike in 8th. Probably disappointing qualifying, I would say, for Mike. Where he is in the standings and some of the results he has had. But then Grimo in 9th and Kevos in 10th. So it is just about a second still. I mean, they proved me wrong. I said less than a second's quite a good margin. In the top 10, I was surprised. I thought it might actually drop just that little bit more. But it is a second. And there we are, folks. There is your grid positions for this Brazilian Grand Prix. While we just have a bit of a breather, let's run you through the championship order as well. I'll just bring that up for you, and that is Kick-Sauber still leading the way on 359 points, but snapping at their heels are the McLaren boys. They are on 246. So I was actually, sorry, apologies. That is read that one wrong. That is a good 100 points at least difference. So the Kicks leading the way comfortably for McLaren, who actually are this time only a snippet ahead of the Red Bulls, who could potentially overtake them this evening with both cars on track. VCarb just a little bit further back on 205. Ferrari on 176. Williams is on 155. So good little gap there, and then quite a bit of a drop down to Mercedes, Aston Martin, Haas and Alpine have not been represented again this season. So we have a little bit of a break for about 3 minutes or so. And then we will have the formation lap, of course, but beautiful sunny weather once again. I think this is the one where, again, the tyre choice of who managed to keep some tyres for the race, who managed to keep some softs, who managed to keep them, of course, an extra set of mediums. Yeah, mostly. You actually did try to get a lap. He got held in the pit lane. One of his teammates was either leaving before him or coming into the pit, so that's cost him that final run. And a little bit, I mean, maybe only 1% wear on the soft tyres that he's going to be used. But yeah, I understand that, Andrew. But don't worry, still in 6th. Still a lot to happen around here. Long race, this one, and it's usually what we call a fast and furious race because, that again, the lap time's so short. You don't really get time to rest. It is an absolute onslaught, but there is still the chances of safety cars. We have a few narrow sections here. The run from turn 5 up the hill to turn 6. That is also always very difficult from Decini del Lago up to Ferradura. We do see some overtakes up there. If you are brave, if you're alongside, you can go on the outside. We've seen some incredible passes there in real life in the past, and then it's usually a bit of single file through the mid sector, and then it's the exit, of course, from Junção up to the start finish straight, what I call the start finish straight, but of course we'll turn 13, 14 and 15 up there as well. That is where you either make an attempt and make the overtake, or just bring yourself really into contention and get a good run through the first couple of corners around Curva de Sol, turn 3, and then try to make the move on the other DRS zone down the Retro Apostro to turn 4. So there's a lot of strategy that's going to be at play this evening. I am sure of it. It's, again, beautiful weather, bright, sunny. So are we going to have that all the way through? That's going to be the key thing here. And it's going to be interesting, the tyre choices. Again, as I mentioned, I would say the softs or the mediums are going to be the preferred tyres. I'm pretty sure. Let's have a... Can I do it? Yes, I can. Lovely. Let's have a quick look at the tyres so far. So the top 3 on the medium tyres. Then we've got Thomas, potentially. It will change this, I'm sure, starting on the softs. Then we've got the third row of the grid starting on the mediums. Then we've got a few drivers there starting on the hard tyres. So interesting. And then Kelvos, of course, on the softs. So as you see, it changed now on the right-hand side of the screen. So drivers there just changing their strategies a little bit, just tinkering with it, seeing what they feel is going to be best to start on. Yeah, interesting, that one. I think, like I said, the hards can go quite a long way, and now we do have the formation. Let's double check those tyres, and it was. So the top 6 on the mediums, Vexman, Mike and Grimo on the hard tyres, and then Kevos on the softs. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting development, I think, especially through the start. It's going to be interesting to see how Vexman, Mike and Grimo get the hard tyres working. What can Kevos do on the opening couple of laps starting on the soft tyres? Can he make them last as well? I mean, I was always an advocate of starting on the harder compound tyre and doing the alternate strategy. That was sort of my default strategy, shall we call it. It was always something that helped me to a number of championships in one of the other leagues, using that and then coming back strong at the end, overtaking people who were on the slower tyre and couldn't make them last while I got the most out of the hard tyres, and I didn't see the benefit always in using the softer compound tyres on heavy fuel. So yeah, using the hard tyres, you can get them up to temperature, and if you're in a bit of a train, then you can keep the hards, or the harder tyres, working for longer. So it's going to be interesting to see what people can do here, but then of course you are always at risk of an earlier safety car, and can't lie, I have fallen victim of that as well in the past. Actually fell victim of that this season in the top tier in the other leagues, and yeah, didn't do me too good, I'm not going to lie. But here we go, Thomas forgot how to park his car. But there we go, all 10 drivers on the grid. Grim also forgot how to park a car. But that's right, on board with our pole sit. We have now 5 red lights, and MRS is green racing. The 3 on hard tyres all had a jump start. That's treacherous for them. They have all got jump starts. They've all got drive-through penalties. Kevos has gone through all of them already, and there's a few lockups into turn 1. But Liquid Gas got a fantastic start. Dom in second. He's battling with Blood Diamond. MasterGeeCze has passed Thomas as well off the line. Monster is there in 6th. Kevos battling further down with Vexman. Vexman gets back through into turn 4, but is a grippy, a soft compound tyre is going to play it apart. Don't worry folks, that is not damage, that is just the way the game is when it hits that part of the track. It's actually 3 parts of the track now, I didn't see that before, but there we go. Now then, the drive-through penalties, that's huge, look at that. Vexman, Mike and Grimo on the hard tyres, that is disastrous. And I'd imagine that is a chain reaction. One moved, and then the next followed suit. Especially for Mike in the standings, that is horrible for him. We have Red Bull and V-Carb, they're battling in the constructors as well, so that's going to hit them hard as well. I'm interested to see when these decide to pit. And I think it's Mike's going to do it at the end of lap 1. It is. Grimo and Vexman continue on, but let's go back to the front. DRS is now enabled, and Liquid Gas is now ahead by 0.7 of a second from Dom Walsh. Blood Diamond there comfortably in 3rd, held off MasterGeeCze at the start, who got through on Thomas. But all the rest of the field are within DRS of one another, which is what you'd expect. Monster, the biggest gap at 9.10, so want to keep that as much as he possibly can, but got to the part of the track where the higher speed corners can get in the dirty air a little bit down this midsection. It's all about the traction, it's all about the rotation and traction. How confident are you on the throttle, where the grip is, and the line you're going to take? We saw there, really good camera angle, Dom taking a wider line down the hill, and Blood Diamond and MasterGeeCze taking a lot tighter line than him behind. So interesting, but Dom, it sort of worked for him because he has closed up quite a bit to the back of the Williams. Are we going to see a change of the lead already at the end of lap 2? DRS wide open for Dom, and he does make that move, and he sets the fast lap as he does it, and now takes the lead of the race. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of those races where it's going to chop and change pretty much most laps. Monster, a final sector for him. He's dropped out of the DRS. There he is in the background. It was Kevos did actually have it on Monster as well, so he's going to start to close. Monster's going to need to get his head down and get some good laps in to close up, and hope everybody ahead starts to trip each other up, because that 1.6 second gap can really, really hurt a lot. Look at this Liquid go on board with Blood Diamond, looking ahead at Liquid Gas, and Dom at this nose to tail behind on the rear wing. There he is. Here's MasterGeeCze, and I'm loving that on board through the mid sector. Driver's not running too wide through there, which is important. I wonder if Thomas managed to get the DRS, because the detection point is halfway up the hill. He didn't actually get it, so it was just outside as Liquid Gas retakes the lead. I'll tell you what, Blood Diamond was looking a little bit interested as well into Dom. Dom's seen him coming, and Dom tried to play the safe game. One to the wide, now run right through 3 as well. Is that going to allow Blood Diamond the chance to get through? Thomas, of course, does now have the DRS. But I tell you what, where's Master G come from? Talk about waiting your time and coming through. What a move that is for Master G up into 3rd. And yeah, I've got to get out of bed early to take that on Blood Diamond. So that's a great overtake for Master G. Thomas, because of this battle, has been able to close and claw his way back into DRS as well. Monster not having... Oh, Monster G's had a problem! Master G's gone round, I think it was. It was Dom. Has there been contact somewhere? I'm trying to get a better view. It is! Oh my goodness me, the Ferrari Dom has got big damage! Huge damage. Half a front wing missing. As something happened with Master G because they were up there. As Master G's missing an end plate as well. So a collision between the Ferrari and the Mercedes. As Monster's got the DRS trying to go on the outside. Dom sped in the pit lane as well. I mean, it is a long race, don't get me wrong. Now Monster is closing. This time Master G doesn't try to defend. As Monster now gets the move done into turn 4 and now finds himself up into 4th. And after all of that, we've got both Mercedes drivers 5th and 6th. Right behind Monster, who has dropped quite a bit of time because of the incident to the back of the top 3, but saying that the top 3 because of the incident as well. But Diamond now almost, well, it is 2 seconds from Liquid Gas, and Liquid Gas will be breathing a huge sigh of relief and very happy with that, because you're just outside of the distant tow, you're just out, well, you're well outside of the DRS as well. So now he can start to manage his pace, manage his tyres, manage his ERS levels as well, more importantly. So Master and Monster still going to be battling because of the DRS strain that we're going to have. And they've dropped quite a bit of time. They've dropped 0.7 of a second this lap to the back of the front runners. And of course that is going to hamper them absolutely massively as Monster this time goes for the outside line. Who's going to be latest on the brakes? It is Monster. Sweeps on the outside into turn 4, and I have a feeling this is going to change pretty much every lap. But as I said, as long as they keep it clean. Oh, the Mercedes boys. Oh, that was a glitch, I'm sure, by Kevos here. I thought he was there on the inside and he wasn't. Let's go further back. The drivers who unfortunately had that drive-through penalty for a jump start. Mike, Vexman and Grimo having a good little battle. Grimo falling off the back a little bit. But Mike and Vexman hopefully now looking to go along into this Grand Prix, and they will have the grip now in those hard compound tyres. They are quite a bit slower, the hard tyres, than the softer compounds. However, they will just keep on going, so could potentially bring themselves back into contention later on in this race. Thomas now on the back of Blood Diamond, very close indeed to him, and further behind that I wonder if Marcy is going to have a look into turn 4 at the back of Monster. Can't this time round, so Monster holds on this lap, but they have now dropped to 5 seconds, so a little bit of drama in these early stages, and that has enabled Liquid Gas, who's actually dropped a couple of tenths to Blood Diamond and Thomas, but still has now a commanding lead, and then the 5 second gap now from 3rd to 4th. Just compound for Monster, but it's still a good start for him. Great start from the Mercedes boys as well. It's going to be interesting to see what Vexman, Mike, Grimo and now Dom of course can do about the gap. Hard tyres will go very long into this race. Master G and Monster now with the DRS have now then Kevos has pitted at a 10-second penalty again. That's the 2 pit stops plus a couple of drive-throughs. Dom and Kevos falling foul of the 10-second penalty. He's gone for the hard tyres, so that should, 28 laps remaining, be able to take him to the end. As Liquid Gas has just pulled that gap up back over to about 2 seconds. Mike and Vexman having another ding-dong battle as well. Mike's actually gone wide and got the first penalty. That'll be the exit of turn 4. Easy to do as well down there. One of the couple of places actually you can invalidate a lap time round here. Turn 1 and 2, of course, the main culprits. Then turn 4, the main points that you can run a little bit wide. Even the top of Ferradoua, it could run wide. That could also cause a warning to you. Interesting, Monster taking the tighter line, even with the DRS, using the overspeed. But is he really challenging into turn 1? He thought about it, thought better. 6 behind through turn 2. Another DRS once again through 3 on the run to turn 4 down the retro poster. Drink tries to cause MasterGeeCze into a mistake, but holding station at this point. Further down we've got Mike and Vexman, of course, battling. I was trying to get back onto them, and they had brought the gap down to about 14.8 seconds, and it's now risen to about 16.8. So at this point, losing a bit of time to the drivers ahead. And we mentioned about it being a technical track, this one. As you can see, very much single file, very much drivers on the same racing line throughout that middle sector. And it's all about just playing that tactical game, because you get, we've seen the DRS here that Vexman's going to have on the back of the McLaren, rearing open on the Red Bull, powering down the start-finish straight, and I'm sure he's going to have a look into turn 1, certainly does. But then that's going to give Mike, which he doesn't want to go onto the the grass too much. But I'll tell you what, a bit slippery as well for Vexman. That's going to cost him. But maybe Mike had to back out of it a little bit. There you go, Mike has got the DRS in return. And can you sometimes get a move back on the retro poster. But Vexman held it well. A little bit starty as well through turn 4 and 5. But okay for now. So a couple little battles out on track, but a few gaps as well. We're not quite a third of the way through this race yet, so but we'll start to get to a point where the tyre wear will just start to kick in just that tiny little bit. And then drivers, especially those on the medium tyres, will start to think about their strategies and be calculating their tyre wear at this moment. How much are they taking out the tyres per lap? Trying to calculate how far they can go into this race. As Mike now retakes it from Vexman into turn 1. Going to keep it neat and tidy. He certainly does through to the screwy on exit. And they're going to give Vexman a chance to come back at him with the DRS down the retro poster. Is he going to be close enough? Not quite this time. MasterGeeCze, 3-second warning in his battle with Monster. Not sure where that would have been actually, because that might have been top of the hill as well. A few of these drivers just sort of holding status to the driver ahead, and I mentioned that because Thomas is the first one to blink of the top runners. So Thomas, 11 laps on those medium tyres. He is now bailed into the pits. I think it's going to be close whether he gets out ahead of Mike and ahead of Vexman. It's going to be very, very close indeed. I think, yeah, he's got out there. He's in the pit exit. If you look to the bottom right hand side of your screen, going through the pit exit through turn 2, there he goes. So Thomas gets a pit stop now ahead of Mike, and the hard tyres now going to be to the end. So maybe just felt there wasn't the overall grip there. Now let's have a look back to this Master G battle, because the ones now sort of, Blood Diamond's actually lost about a second now nearly to Liquid Gas. So it was about hovering about the 2 seconds. They were hovering about the 3-second window. So Liquid Gas, sort of, you would say, a little bit safe from a potential undercut from Blood Diamond. We're interested to see who blinks when and where. For X-Men, 3-second warning in his battle with Mike, so that's going to be crucial for him. But you can actually cut a couple of the corners. Monster's actually pit. Now then, a lap later than Thomas, Monster's taking this opportunity to have a pit stop. He should come out ahead of Dom on fresh, hard tyres. I'm going to keep an eye on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. This is actually going to be a bit of a battle with Grimo, this with Monster, I think, because there's Grimo through turn 2 on the inside, but I think he's going to have the overall pace, and he does. So Grimo takes it and gets ahead of Monster, who... Grimo had DRS. I'm trying to work out who he might have got that off. That could have been Monster in the pit lane, which would be a, I think, probably a bit of a shock to Grimo. Suddenly he got the beep in his headphones that he had the DRS. But now Monster and Grimo in 8th, but he's made his pit stop now. And Kev Oscar 3-second warning. So let's have a look at these penalties. So, wow, Dom has a penalty as well in their little battle, 9th and 10th. So they have the speeding in the pit lane penalties, don't forget, so they need to pit again. Potentially this race they will have to serve that 10-second penalty, and what we have here is 13 seconds because of track limits for the Ferrari, who's actually, Dom hasn't pitted, so he's still struggling with that front wing, so he's still going on with half a wing. The Ferrari's balance seems alright. It's Charles Leclerc all over again. Has Kevos replaced his wing? I'll have to have a quick look at that. Let's come down to turn 1. Yes, he has, so he's got a fully functioning wing. Grimo already. Oh, Grimo through turn 3. Not sure what happened there. Don't know if that was a bit of a battle with Monster, but Monster's through already, using the superior grip on those fresh, hard tyres. Now we'll chase down after Mike with 6 seconds of penalties. 3 for Rexman, 3 for Master G. So far, this race. Let's go back to the tyres, because I feel we're going to have some pit stops, and our race leader does pit. Blood Diamond is going to take the lead, take over from the Williams man who was led from the start. Master G stays out, so he is going to pit. Now then, is Jack going to be able to get out ahead of Thomas? That is going to be crucial. He's coming to the end of the pit lane now. Thomas is coming down the start-finish straight. Let's cut to Thomas. Here's Jack. He's going through turn 1. He's now going through turn 2, but he's in the tighter pit lane, the narrow pit lane. You could just caught a glimpse of him. This is going to be very, very close indeed. But Jack, there he goes. He has got ahead. But Thomas, those 3 laps that he's done, has closed the gap by a good 2 to 2.5 seconds, maybe. So the undercut, very powerful here. You'd have to say, because of Thomas's pace on those hards, that Master G and Blood Diamond, or especially Blood Diamond, is going to fall behind the Kick Sauber man. And I think that was probably very crucial for Liquid Gas, especially to get out ahead of Thomas. The championship sort of really needs those points to start clawing his way back up from 3rd to 2nd in the championship. Thomas, don't forget, can take the lead of the championship. And interestingly, the top 2 have now pitted. Blood Diamond, Master G in response. Is it a lap too late? And I think it is, because Thomas and Liquid Gas have gone through, and they have gone through as well on Blood Diamond, who is in the pit exit, but the top 2 already into turn 2, and they have gained a massive amount of time. Vexman and Mike still trading places. Master G's actually lost out even more, because Monster is loving the hard tyres at this moment in time. He is closing rapidly on his teammate and Mike, who of course, they've been through the pits for the drive-through penalty. But that is their only time through the pits. So they're on very worn, hard compound tyres. We're trying to take those probably another nearly 10 laps if possible, I would say. If they possibly can, then switching, I would say, to the medium tyres to run to the end of the race. But Monster enjoying the feel of the fresh hard tyres, and luckily for him, he's got sort of Grimo, hopefully going to try and act as a barrier for him and to hold at MasterGeeCze as he comes back through the pack. But MasterGeeCze lost a huge amount of time. I guess it pitting that lap later, Mike and Vexman battling once again. Did I see a rear wing open? I did! The rear wing open on Monster. He has taken a massive amount of time on these two who are so focused on themselves. They are out of position, I say, but that drives the penalty. Unfortunately, the only person they can blame for that is themselves. And now we'll go through the middle part of the lap. There's going to be nose to tail, I would say, for this part. Jack now trying to rebuild his lead. Of course, from Thomas, pitted a few laps later. Up to 2 seconds, but Diamond, fresher hard tyres as well. He's going to look to close that gap back to Thomas and retake that position back into second. But interestingly, what's Vexman going to do here about his teammate? Is he going to help him? Is he going to let him through a little bit? Or is he going to be focused on the fight ahead? This is not his fight, don't forget, but the overspeed so powerful on the Red Bull. Couldn't really help, had to nip out there and take the position for Mike. Monster, nothing he could do at that point, but slipping and sliding the Red Bull through turn 2 and turn 3. Monster's there as well. He's been boxed in a little bit. This is going to hamper his progress. Monster trying to go for the inside line, can't make it. Ooh, had to back out there, and I think that's going to hurt Monster in his overall lap speed. It's not what he needs with the two battling ahead of him, wrapped up in their little battle. As Mike's gone defensive up the hill to Verajua, can't go around the outside there for Vexman. But yeah, this is hampering Monster quite a lot now. We are up the hill. This time, Vexman leaves a bit of room. He dropped the DRS, didn't activate it as early as his teammate, so now his teammate goes through a lap later than he would have really wanted. Thomas has actually dropped a second to the leader now. Blood Diamond closing that gap back to Thomas on the fresher tyres. Now then, how long can Mike withstand the rampant Red Bull of Monster? And I tell you what, it's not long at all. Monster down the red poster into turn 4. Now retakes 4th position, now can set off after the top two. But I'll tell you what, Mike's not giving this one up. He's got the worn tyres. He's trying around the outside up the hill. This is going to be very dangerous. Really worn tyres. Monster holds the inside line. Very good battling. Very fair. Good fight between them. But that was not really, I would say, Mike's fight, but held it all together. The other racer, of course, at the end of the day. But now then, what can Monster do? He needs to have this Monster. The Monster needs a Monster middle sector to pull away as much as he possibly can up the hill. Trying to use as much of his battery as possible. Let's look back, because it can be worth about 7/10 of a second, the DRS down the straight, and look at this, Mike already coming. Wow, the overspeed from the... Gee whiz, that was a bit quick. But he does lock up, goes wide through turn 1, so now on turn 2, Monster's going to tee himself up for a good exit through the centre S's. Again, this is really not what Monster needs at all. Mike is out of position. Is Monster going to be daring on the brakes? He's not this time around. He's not going to send it. Wise move. The type of driver he is, all fair. But yeah, this is definitely not helping Monster in any way, shape or form. At this point, Mike gets very squirrely at the top of the hill. Let's leave this battle now because Blood Diamond has closed the gap to Thomas. He is not liking those hard compound tyres in any way, shape or form. Don't forget that gap was just about 2 seconds. Only a few laps ago, now nearly up to 5. Blood Diamond has closed down, so using that fresh tyre advantage, he's got the DRS to close a little bit on the kick salver. You can see even through turn 2. Oh no, Mike and Vexman both pit at the same time, release Monster into clean air. But that has really hampered him because MasterGeeCze has caught up quite a lot through that stage as Blood Diamond used the DRS. Got through on Thomas, set the purple first sector as well. So it was the overspeed on the V-carb. At this moment in time now, 5 seconds he has to catch. Only 1 lap fresher tyres as well, 15 more to go. Mike and Vexman, Grimoire's also pit as well. We've got Dom, who still does need to pit, and Kevos both fighting tooth and nail. So if it's not one of the Mercedes, it's another for Dom this evening. But Thomas is pit again. Thomas, I knew he was saying he didn't like those hard tyres, but 10 laps is all he's managed. Are we going to see a 2-stop strategy start to play out this evening? Has he got mediums? He is going to the medium tyres, but he's dropped to Monster and he's dropped to MasterGeeCze. Those medium tyres, a lot faster. We have seen that already this evening. A lot lighter fuel as well at this stage of the Grand Prix. So Thomas on the hunt back now to try to regain that podium place. Let's go back to this Kevos Dom battle. Kevos on his debut here in MRS, so as his teammate currently in 4th, Kevos here in 7th, hunting down Dom. Dom, it's no mean feat to do that, but Mike and Vexman going down rapidly. The gap to these two. It's surprising that Thomas only made those hard tyres go 10 laps. I was saying he didn't like them. Oh, there's a bit of a bump there for Kevos. I think he's running a really low right hand because that was looking like the car was bottomed out on him. Took too much inside curb. Could have been a potential warning as well for track limits, but it's allowed Mike to close right there, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have a DRS train. We certainly do. Can Kevos keep at bay the McLaren? The papaya is through already. The fresh medium tyres and the overspeed went a little deep though, but the grip is going to be there nearly. Wow, Kevos trying to get back, can't quite do it, but they're going to both have the DRS one more time, and I think that's going to help Mike to make that move. And now Dom is the next man in line. MasterGeeCze is actually closing that little gap a little bit on Monster, just at 1.3 seconds, but with a penalty as well, so 3-lap difference in tyres. We've seen how much that could affect a car and a driver, and how much tyre wear that can help, and the confidence as well. And Liquid Gas just managing that gap to Blood Diamond. I'm sure Blood Diamond is also monitoring the 15-second gap to Monster as well. So the top two now just sort of doing their thing, you know what to say. And a few gaps. This Dom, obviously, of course, will probably pit. Speaking of the devil, there he goes into the pits. It is a difficult one to find, but it'll still be some good points. We'll keep our eye on what tyres he chooses. I would imagine it'll be another set of medium tyres. We saw at the start of this race, here's Kevos started on the softs, about 7 laps I think it was, but a lot lighter fuel, of course, a lot more grip. I'll be surprised if he does choose Soft, is he getting a new front wing? I think he has it. Yes, he is. And it is the soft tyres for Dom. So that's going to be interesting towards the end of this race. But he is at risk and he is going to be lapped. Okay, let's get another 3-second warning. But now Jack has lapped. So has Blood Diamond. They have lapped Dom. But still going to be points for Dom. Finishing in 10th. And I think that's going to be crucial towards the end of the season. Now, interestingly, the gap had gone to 1.7 seconds with Monster and MasterG, and that gap has just come down again. Don't know if Monster's made a mistake somewhere, run very wide, and had a very scruffy lap indeed, because MasterG is now within the DRS of the Red Bull. And closing down the retro apostrophe. Is he going to try and have a look into turn 4? And he certainly does on the inside. Monster all fair with that one. The fresher tyres for MasterG playing dividends there. Well, there's a 3.5 second gap now with 11 more laps after this one to go to Thomas, who's going to be pushing on those mediums. What's going to be interesting to see, I think, is if Monster decides, maybe in a couple of laps' time, that he wants to pit again. Actually, notice that MasterG still hasn't fixed his end plate, or has lost it again. Because I would say he's definitely missing a part of its front wing. So, actually, quite a remarkable race for MasterG, I would have to say at this point. It's only they're missing those parts of the wing. But the more he is ahead of Monster, that gap, I said it was 3.5 seconds, we're down nearly just over 2.6 now. So Thomas on the charge, looking for potential podium this evening. Trying to cut the deficit that Liquid Gas is going to gain. A few gaps have formed now as Kevos has pitted. He's gone for the mediums to the end. There's Kevos. He's actually been passed as well by the leader, so he's been lapped. Thomas sets the fastest lap on the fresh softer tyres, but Blood Diamond is there as well. Blood Diamond does get the DRS on the back of Dom, but Dom he's got the blue flags. If you're quick and eagle-eyed viewers, you'll see that as you go past some stewarding posts. And the blue flags were there. To wave them. You can see it there, the board on the left hand side. So the blue flags definitely there for Kevos and for Dom to allow Blood Diamond to come through. But they are on fresher and softer compound tyres, so I think that sort of negates it a little bit, almost trying to pull away from Blood Diamond at this point in time. As I tell you what, Dom on the outside of Jung Cow. How on earth did he manage that? One's a little bit wide. Really hampered Kevos as well. But, wow, what a move that was. Dom really on a charge back. And Kevos had the DRS, but allows the second place man to come through. He was actually managed to take a couple of tenths out of our race leader. Haven't seen him for a little while. There he is into turn 4, clear track ahead of him. Just now managing the tyres, managing the pace, 8 more laps to go as well. We've not seen anybody take the even the hard tyres that long. So it's going to be an interesting finale, I think, to this race. Let's go back to the penalty situation at this moment in time. So MasterG with 3 seconds, Vexman and Dom with 3. They have served 10-second penalties as well. Mike with 6 and Kevos with 6. So actually I think it was Dom and Kevos. I do apologise to Vexman for saying he had a 10-second penalty, but they have served those in their pit stops. So now it's just a race to the flag. I think Monster looking at him in fourth, still there behind Master G. I think he knows that Thomas on fresher mediums is closing the gap, and will close it considerably, and sort of not could be a force to be reckoned with in the next couple of laps. Sort of not pushing too hard on Master G. Of course, knows that 3-second penalty is there. Knows if he fights too hard, they could potentially lose quite a lot of time, especially Thomas behind too. That gap now he's got to that 1.3, maybe in the dirty air just a little bit, and isn't kind of able to close a bit more chaos now with an extra 3 seconds, so 9 seconds for the other Mercedes man on his debut. There's still been a strong showing from the two debutants this evening. Of course, there is MasterGeeCze currently as he sits in third. That, of course, will, as it stands, be demoted to fifth. But still a very strong showing, absolutely. So the gaps, a few gaps are formed on the field as well. We've got that Vexman and Mike battle has just petered out a little bit. 2.7 the gap, but the extra 3 seconds difference in the time penalties. Grimaud as well could actually gain from this as well. He's only 2.8 as well off the back of Vexman, so as it stands he could actually get 2 spaces if the race were to fall and the checkered flag was to fall now. But he's going to want to make a bit more of that, I am sure. Let's go back to the tyres. Quite equal between Mike Vexman and Grimaud. So I think Grimaud was about the same. Yeah, 1 lap over compared to the 2 around him, so not too much wear difference. Well, I said Thomas was going to get stuck in that dirty air. He has now closed to about where that 1 second window is needed for the DRS detection point, which is going to be down. So I think it's actually out of Juncker up the hill. So yeah, just starting to eke his way to the back of Monster and Master G at this moment in time. Let's see about his progress. Monster sort of just, I think he is sort of trying, but hasn't got the battery and the overall straight line pace compared to the Mercedes at this moment in time. So I found himself sat there for quite a few laps now, and that's allowed Thomas to close in. Now, will Thomas find himself in the same situation as the Red Bull, or will he come through as they are losing quite a lot of time to the top 2, and that gap stabilised about the 5.7, 5.8 window. So again, the top 2 will, I'm sure they'll have tested each other, trying to put a fast lap and bring the gap down. The gap's gone back up again, and now they'll know the gap to Master G. You know it's 17.8 second gap to Blood Diamond. Jack will see that as a 22 second gap, so he will be happy with that, knowing he can just bring the car home with 4 more laps to go. That's how it is. Monster going to try it this time round as Master G goes very defensive to the inside very early on. Nothing Monster could do this time round, maybe just use the DRS to just keep himself there, but I tell you what, he's had a look through too. Let's have a quick look. What happened to Monster? I think he went a little bit wide. I don't know if he sort of backed out. I think he did, but then he also realised he'd actually got ahead through the detection point and had actually lost out on the DRS. So Thomas now through into 4th, which will be net P3. But I tell you what, man, just trying that up the hill. Now will we see Thomas make short work? Oh, Master G. Spear off into the distance. About 3 more racing laps. Those hard tyres for liquid gas won't be feeling too great, but he has actually eked that gap out a few tenths of a second. Just over the 6 second point now. There is he on track. There he is. Clean air again. He has got through on Dom. So actually, I think it's Dom was actually probably catching him a little bit because he's pulled away from Kevos. So we mentioned about Thomas, MasterGeeCze. Sorry, folks, to cut away at that point. Thomas not wasting any time down the start-finish straight. But I tell you what, MasterGeeCze, don't know if he'll give this one up much, but has Thomas saved any battery? Goes very defensive down the retro poster. Are we going to see the Mercedes drive on the outside? Latest on the brakes. Who can get the car stopped? Can MasterGeeCze do it? Yes, he certainly can. Back up into third. Ooh, runs a little bit wide. Don't normally run a bit wide there, so it could be a little bit lapse of concentration. Maybe looking behind him to see where the Kicksauber and the Red Bull are. Got most of 20 laps on those. Hard. Oh, Kevos has got 10 seconds for ignoring blue flags. Wow. Well, I have not seen that one before. But Kevos, there it is. Yep, there is Blood Diamond. As he goes straight on, and that, I think that's him trying to crash. As he retires from the session. On track. Not what we want to see, unfortunately, Kevos. You're having a good race, good solid points on your debut in MRS, and I don't normally call people out, I'll be perfectly honest, ladies and gentlemen, but that is not what we want to see in F1 sim racing. That is very, very poor sportsmanship. Held Blood Diamond up, 10-second penalty for ignoring those blue flags, and then try to deliberately crash on track is not what we do this for. It's not how we race. So, unfortunately, poor showing for you this evening, and a DNF on your debut. I was going to say it's not what you deserve, but MasterGeeCze just cut that inside corner up the hill through turn 6. A little bit too much battling with Thomas, and now a 6-second penalty surely cement him in 5th position at the end of this race. Well, now that'll help Monster give him a bit of a breath now as well. His tyre is 3 laps older than that of MasterGeeCze, but there's only one more lap after this one to go. These gentlemen starting their penultimate lap, as we have our leader going through turn 4 down the hill, as Thomas and MasterGeeCze fighting once more. MasterGeeCze is not giving this one up. It's a good showing, must say. So unfortunately, while one of the Mercedes boys gives himself in a bit of shame, the other Mercedes man giving himself a very, very good and very strong showing, and I think continues to race each week. He'll have a give some of these drivers a bit of a headache, because yeah, really pushing on, giving Thomas something to think about. Thomas, I know he's those mediums won't be feeling too great now, but neither will the hard tyres of MasterGeeCze or Monster. But yeah, definitely giving himself a very good showing. Has lost an end plate as well in some of the battles. I think Monster just sort of struggling a little bit to keep on with everybody. But the man on his final lap, the 2 men, actually this is 3 men, are currently on the fastest lap, unfortunately for Dom. He is a lap down. Which is disappointing for him, but it'll still be good points for the Fryman. See that he hasn't given up. But Liquid Gas and Blood Diamond, the top 2, start their final lap, and now so do MasterGeeCze, Monster, and leading that trio, it is Thomas, who's got his way up to 3rd to try to diminish some of the points difference between him and Liquid Gas, as Liquid Gas surely now, as he comes to the end of the final sector for the final time. It's been a masterclass from Jack. Took pole position, had a fantastic start, has swamped away at every opportunity, pitted perfectly, managed his tyres, not a single penalty. Don't know if he had any track limit warnings, but it doesn't matter, because the Williams man, is it back to back? It is Jack in the Williams, takes the win here in Brazil and Sao Paulo. A nice weave across the line to celebrate. MasterGeeCze has got through once again on Thomas, but Diamond crosses in second. A very worthy second place for him. MasterGeeCze, Thomas, Monster, last drag up the hill. Who's got the battery? Who's got the speed? It's going to be a 6-second penalty regardless of MasterGeeCze, so Thomas will get the penalty. Monster, has he run out of fuel? Monster's run out of fuel! Monster, it was going to be a P4, and it's not. He's run out of fuel on the final lap. Oh, heartbreak. It's going to be P5 regardless for MasterGeeCze on his debut. Takes fourth. Mike holds off. What a comeback from him. He's finished in sixth ahead of Vexman, who's going to drop that place to Grimmer, who came back at the final lap as well. So let me just take a moment, folks. Thomas gets the game's driver of the day. That got a bit interesting at the end, didn't it? Nice and calm throughout. Nice and calculated. And then we have Jack takes the top step. Very happy, Jack. Get in there, he says, in the Twitch chat. And well deserved. 110% from Jack there. What a pole position. Led every lap other than the pit stops. And then, of course, the top step of the podium. Maximum points for Liquid Gas this evening. Crucial to try to claw that gap back on the Kick-Salvers. It may not be a big gap that he's managed to gain on Thomas, but it's a big gap on our championship leader, which has changed, and that will be Thomas takes over his teammate Dino. But there we go, before the end there, Liquid Gas takes the win on track. Blood Diamond in second. Quiet race from him, but a good battles as well in the early stage with Thomas, and it takes a worthy second place. Thomas there in third. MasterGeeCze on his debut. Great race from him in fourth. Monster Heartbreak could have had fourth. Run out of fuel right on the run to the line. He will take fifth. Grimo battles back to take sixth. Mike seventh. Vexman, Dom a lap down, and Keros retired on purpose on track after a penalty for blue flag infringements. Excuse me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, all that's left to say, that was a really good race again from MRS. Thank you so much, everybody. Would have been points, good points as well from all the finishers. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to Liquid Gas, Blood Diamond, and Thomas. MasterGeeCze, I think I'm going to give you, my friend, the driver of the day on your debut here in MRS. So well done, and I look forward to seeing you race again with us in 7 days' time. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all from MRS this week, and that is all from me. So thank you for putting up with me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking part, and I look forward to seeing you next week. As always, have a lovely week and a lovely weekend, folks. Enjoy the Japanese Grand Prix early if you're in the UK. 7 o'clock start at the weekend. Hopefully hear your thoughts on that in the Twitch stream next week. But until then, thank you all, and good night.